I never asked where the money went because I didn't think I needed to. In our family, money was always described the same way: tight, limited, something we had to be careful with. It was the explanation for everything. Why we didn't travel. Why repairs were delayed. Why celebrations were small and quiet. And I accepted it without question, because that's what you do when you trust people. My parents never complained outright. They just mentioned sacrifices. My brother learned early how to repeat those phrases like facts. Things are expensive now. We have to be smart. Everyone needs to adjust. So I adjusted. When I started working full-time, I contributed without being asked. Small amounts at first, then more as my income grew. Nothing dramatic, just enough to help out. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself families support each other. No one ever showed me numbers. No one ever asked if I needed help in return. I lived simply. Cheap apartment. No car upgrade. No trips. When friends asked why I never joined them on vacations, I smiled and said, family stuff. The lie didn't hurt because I didn't know it was a lie yet. The first crack appeared on an ordinary afternoon. I was scrolling through my phone during a break when a photo popped up in my feed. Not tagged. Not sent to me. Just there. Shared by someone I barely knew. It showed a familiar restaurant. White tablecloths. Ocean view. Champagne glasses catching the light. And in the corner of the photo, slightly out of focus but unmistakable, was my brother. Next to him were my parents. Relaxed. Smiling. Dressed better than I'd seen them in years. At first, I thought it was an old picture. Something from before money became tight. I checked the timestamp. 2 days ago. My stomach tightened, but my mind still tried to protect them. Maybe it was work-related. Maybe someone else paid. Maybe. Then I saw the second photo. Airport lounge. Leather seats. Floor-to-ceiling windows. My mother holding a boarding pass. My father laughing. I zoomed in without thinking. First class. I sat there longer than I should have, phone resting in my hands, heart pounding quietly. No anger yet. Just confusion. The kind that feels heavy instead of sharp. I didn't confront anyone. I didn't send the photo to the family chat. I didn't ask a single question. That night, my mom called. Her voice was warm, normal. Did you eat? Don't forget to rest. I almost asked then. Almost. Instead, I said, yeah. Everything's fine. After we hung up, I opened my banking app. Not because I suspected theft, but because I needed to understand reality again. Numbers don't lie. They just sit there, waiting. That's when I noticed something I had ignored for years. Small transfers. Irregular amounts. Always justified. Always explained vaguely. Never discussed. Never questioned. The photo hadn't shown me luxury. It had shown me direction. And for the first time in my life, I decided not to look away. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I was angry, but because my mind kept replaying small moments I had dismissed for years. Conversations that suddenly sounded different. Requests that felt lighter at the time but heavier in hindsight. Every "can you help just this once" that had quietly become routine. The next morning, I did something I had never done before. I opened a spreadsheet. I pulled bank statements going back years. Not aggressively. Not obsessively. Just carefully. Line by line. Dates. Amounts. Notes. Patterns. At first, it looked harmless. Grocery help. Utility support. Emergency expenses. Things families help each other with. Then I noticed timing. Transfers that matched hotel bookings I recognized from the photos. Withdrawals just before holidays we couldn't afford. Payments labeled vaguely miscellaneous, temporary, will return soon, that never did. My hands didn't shake. My breathing stayed calm. What I felt wasn't betrayal yet. It was clarity. I kept digging. I checked shared documents. Old emails. Messages I had skimmed years ago and forgotten. I wasn't searching for proof to confront anyone. I was trying to understand the structure of the story I had been living inside without realizing it. By noon, the picture was clear. They hadn't stolen from me. They had depended on me, quietly, consistently, comfortably. And once that dependence became normal, honesty became optional. My phone buzzed. A message in the family group chat. Mom, we're back next week. We should all have dinner. I'll cook. I stared at the screen for a long moment before replying. Me, sure. That dinner happened 3 days later. Everything about it felt rehearsed. My brother talked loudly, as if volume could erase suspicion. My father avoided eye contact. My mother kept offering food, refilling plates that weren't empty. No one mentioned the trip. No one mentioned money. Halfway through the meal, my brother said casually, "You should really travel sometime. You work too much." I looked at him. Really looked at him. "Maybe," I said. "Travel can be expensive." He laughed. "Tell me about it." I didn't laugh back. Instead, I asked something small. "How much did your tickets cost?" The room froze. My mother cleared her throat. "Oh, someone had miles." "Who?" I asked gently. No one answered. I nodded, as if that explained everything. After dinner, I went home and made a decision. Not a dramatic one. Not an emotional one. A practical one. I called my financial advisor the next day. I didn't accuse anyone. I didn't explain the photos. I simply asked what would happen if I restructured my assets. Changed contribution flows. Formalized boundaries that had never been written down. He listened carefully. Then he said, "You should have done this years ago." We started the process immediately. Nothing illegal. Nothing aggressive. Just clarity, documented and enforced. Automatic transfers ended. Informal support was paused. Accounts were separated cleanly. No announcements. No warnings. Within a week, the tone in the family chat shifted. Messages became shorter. Less cheerful. My brother asked if everything was okay. My mom sent a long paragraph about rising costs and unexpected expenses. I responded politely. Neutrally. "I'm adjusting things on my end," I said. "Just being careful." That's when the calls started. My brother first. "You didn't tell us you were changing stuff," he said, irritation creeping into his voice. "You didn't tell me about the trip," I replied calmly. Silence. Then my mother. "We're family," she said. "Why are you making this complicated?" "I'm not," I answered. "I'm making it clear." The word clear seemed to scare them more than anger ever would. A week later, the real problem surfaced. My brother called again, this time late at night. His voice was tight. Controlled. Too controlled. "There's an issue with the bank," he said. "They're asking questions about funds." "What kind of questions?" I asked. "About guarantees," he said. "About where money came from." I leaned back in my chair. "They're doing their job," I said. He exhaled sharply. "Did you trigger this?" I didn't deny it. "I stopped pretending," I said. That was the moment the balance shifted. Not because I had power, but because I had stopped giving it away. And they could finally feel the absence. The bank questions didn't arrive loudly. They arrived politely. Formal emails. Neutral language. Requests for clarification. But politeness doesn't make consequences softer, it just makes them unavoidable. My brother called me the next morning. Not angry this time. Not defensive. Careful. They want documentation, he said. They're saying the guarantees don't line up anymore. They do, I replied. They just don't rely on me now. He went quiet. For years, my money had been treated like a background feature, always there, always available, never acknowledged as something that could disappear. When I formalized boundaries, it wasn't dramatic. It was administrative. And that's what made it dangerous. My parents tried next. My mother came to my place unannounced, carrying leftovers like peace offerings. She sat on my couch and spoke slowly, choosing words the way people do when they want sympathy without responsibility. We didn't think it mattered, she said. You never said no. I never knew I had to, I answered. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. My father joined us later that evening. He didn't sit down right away. We were trying to keep the family together, he said. I nodded. By keeping me uninformed. He sighed. We didn't think you'd mind. That sentence hurt more than any accusation. Not because it was cruel, but because it was honest. A week later, the adjustments became public inside the family. My brother had to renegotiate his loan. Interest rates changed. The safety net thinned. The house he had planned to upgrade became the house he needed to keep. There was no collapse. No scandal. Just reality catching up. And reality is quiet when it arrives on time. Family dinners became awkward. Conversations shortened. Plans stopped including assumptions. For the first time, my presence wasn't taken for granted, it was noticed. Months passed. One afternoon, my brother called again. His voice was different now. Tired. Stripped of entitlement. I should have told you, he said. About the trips. About the money. Yes, I replied. I didn't think it would come back like this. It always does, I said. Just not the way we expect. After that, things settled. Not perfectly. Not warmly. But honestly. I didn't cut anyone off. I didn't punish. I didn't demand apologies. I simply lived differently. I traveled when I wanted. I spent without guilt. I saved without secrecy. I stopped explaining decisions that were mine to make. And they adjusted. Because they had to. The photo that started everything stayed on my phone for a long time. I didn't delete it. Not out of bitterness, but as a reminder. Not of betrayal. Of awareness. I never asked where the money went. Until that one photo appeared. And once I saw it, I didn't raise my voice. I raised my boundaries.